What's up, y'all? This is Dub It Down. Just gonna tell y'all why, writing and going off the top are two different things in music. Um, One thing in particular is writing is not the real type of music that you want to get. That's the old style of music. It's like there's a whole nother method you could do is going off the top of the head when you make your music. That's what I did on all 65 of my albums, and I used to write a lot back when I was younger, and I had a whole book of rhymes. I had a whole notebook of rhymes. But what I did, I realized, the best thing I could do is rewrite my style and do what nobody else has done. As far as making all my albums without writing. So the best thing I could do was start a whole new genre of music. So I invented myself to make my first album. When I made my 65 albums, I made my first album and I didn't write it. So therefore I got motivated to make my other albums without writing. And I made them all the way up to 65 albums with no writing, no editing, and no mixing. And I called my new form of, I called this new form of rap tronstep. Because I'm not really a hip hop artist. I don't consider myself hip hop, but I consider myself a new type of genre because this has never been done before. It's been done sometimes. Some people go off the top, but usually they're what do you call it, tapping in or whatever, or what they're doing is recording one verse at a time. They're like tapping in and. They record one verse at a time. They're not writing. But what I do is I go off the top from when the beat starts to when it stops. And then I just flow and freestyle all the way through it. So that was my method of writing. So what happened is I got better at my music. My first album was really good for some reason. But a lot of people haven't heard it yet. But my first album, it was fire. But I got pretty much I got lucky on my first album because I was just like going off the top, and I had a lot of adrenaline pumping at that time. So I had a fire freestyle first freestyle album, and I was proud of myself because I didn't write it. But then I figured out, my music has to be if I'm going to step in this 2024 era, I have to rewrite my style and not I have to rewrite my style and not use any writtens. So that's what I basically came up with. My style on my first album was not to write, and it sounded amazing. My first album sounded amazing. So I was like, I listened to it for a few years back to back without me making any more albums, and I decided to start making some more albums. But I was like, yeah, I'll continue with the no writing. So I just continued that, and I some albums I wasn't as great, but it was still off the top. But my first album was fire. My second album was not that great. But every single album I made was no writtens, no editing, and no mixing. So that was my whole thing that I brought to the table was my new form of rap, my new genre of rap, and I call it tronstep. Some people have said they're freestylers. Some people have said they go off the top, but they haven't done it like I have. I use absolutely no editing, no mixing, and no writing on every one of my songs. So people have done it, but they haven't done it quite like me. I created a whole new genre. 65 albums, I created a whole new genre of music. And, you'll be able to tell my music's a little different. My music's not really traditional hip-hop. My music's more futuristic, synth, pop, rap, dirty soul. I have a lot of subgenres, but what I was saying is, and a lot of G-funk also. But what I was saying is, my music is not really hip hop. You know what I'm saying? I don't really like 90s hip hop like that because I grew up in the 90s, and the 90s was a bad era for me. So I don't really like hip hop in its whole, in its in its entirety. I don't like hip hop. There's not many artists that I listen to, so I don't say that I'm a hip hop artist. I say that I'm an indie artist, and I'm a rap artist. But it's tronstep. My genre is tronstep. So I just want to put that out there, guys. If you practice if you treat your raps like a Mario game, remember Super Mario World? You have to run, and you can run on turbo. You run on turbo all the way to the end of the level, and you try to get some power-ups. This is the same way when you start your free to use beats on YouTube. You set your digital camera up on your laptop. You hit play. You then freestyle all the way to the end of the beat. You go off the top of the head. It takes a few different tries, but once you get it right, then you publish it. And then you make it into an MP3, get it on your distributor. But there's different ways of rewriting your whole style. Once you're a good writer, you got to say, well, there's other good writers. Like Eminem, for instance, is a good writer, but I don't think he's a good rapper. But if he writes so good, and there might be a chance that you're also a good writer, but you're not on Eminem's level. So what you got to do is rewrite your style. So basically, you have a whole notebook of rhymes. What you want to do is throw them out or burn them in a fire. Rewrite your whole style by going off the top of the head. Remember the Egyptian days, they didn't have what they had in their mind. They didn't have laptops to keep notes and everything. They didn't have phones to keep notes, but the early Egyptians and the Sumerians or whatnot, they had to use what was in their head. So rewrite your whole style and go off the top and start practicing. And once you practice enough, then make your first album and see how many albums you can make. But like I was saying, there's different ways of reinventing your style. You got to still listen to a lot of current music to get an idea of what's popping, different words they use and stuff like that. But I was born in '82, so I heard a lot of different styles of rap. But my main thing was G-Funk back in the day. It was like Warren G and Snoop Dogg, Ice Cube, Dr. Dre. My main thing was G-Funk. That's the music I love. So that's a big inspiration of some of my music. And then going off the top is just like rewriting your style and learning your craft in a different way. Once you do that, you're pretty much you mastered your ability to make raps or make albums at a very high speed. Because I can make an album in 1 or 2 hours. I can make a whole 10-song album in 1 or 2 hours and have it produced, have it on DistroKid in 1 or 2 hours. And I didn't start out that way. Usually when I first started, it took me about 15 hours to make a whole album. And back then I had 18 songs on the whole album. I was putting more songs on the album. When I got up to number 40, I started making 10 songs on the album. Because I was making them so fast, I was like, I'll just keep it at 10 songs an album. But, so, excuse me. So there's ways you could look at, the productivity of not editing, not mixing, and not writing saves you 30 years off your time of making music and making YouTube videos, making all this. If you don't write, but you relearn how to do your songs in your head, with just simple practicing skills where you get better, where you master it in your head, then all you need to do is set up your camera and start recording on a daily basis, try to make hit songs after hit songs and do your singles. But this is my little helpful advice, Not sure if you'll use my method. My method was not easy to do, and it took me about 15, 16 albums before I really got better at my craft. And then about album 40 something, I got extremely good at it. And then all the way 40 to 65, I was making my albums in an hour or two. So I got better each set of albums. But, the thing is, you got to start from somewhere. If this encourage you, then, it'd be helpful if you give me a sub or a follow. I'll leave the link in the description. Sub both my YouTube channels. Follow me on all platforms. I got some clothing brand, shoe brand. I'll leave that in the description. So you can find that on my website as well. Got a lot of cool shit on my website. let me tell you like how much I made in my whole career. I've been on DistroKid for 1 year, and I made $63. You know, but I made a song that Hawk to a girl. I made a song like that. I remixed a little something something. I sped it up, and I made a beat out of the Hawk to a girl. And that song actually has paid me the most out of any other song I've done, because that song I made $15 on it already. But it's not a lot of money. But that song was just something I threw together for like to gain followers and gain listeners on Spotify. So that kind of worked, and I did that to graft one in. You can look at my video about grafting one in, and I'll tell you about how to do that to get in another song, mix your song into that song so you can graft one in on the charts and gain a little popularity, which is legal to do. But anyways, you can look at my video for that, but I'm going to end this video kind of short. Like I said, though, I'm going viral on a few songs in Japan, Germany. I have a lot of different, I'm on all different platforms. Some platforms I'm hitting for like 200,000 a week. Well, I was hitting 200,000 audio views a week, and then I had over like 2 or 3 million on one song, or two songs I had like 3 million. You know, it wasn't showing up on my TikTok views, but it was showing up under my TikTok views under category of the particular song, which I don't know if I was getting paid for that. I don't know if it's been 3 months yet. I think it's been 2, maybe close to 3 months, but I haven't got paid for the views I get on TikTok. So I don't know if I'm going to actually get paid for it. But the thing is about the grafting one in is, you know, that song, I was not expecting it to do that great. I was just expecting to get a little jump up and have some more listeners on Spotify by making that spit on that thing song. So, you know, basically it's doing a lot better than I thought it was. I already made $15 from that song, and you know, it was just something I threw together real quick. But you know, watch my video about grafting one in. You'll learn something about that. You know, grafting one in it's kind of easy. I didn't expect that song to do that good, but I'm hitting on all platforms on that particular song, and then different songs I'm hitting on different platforms. So, you know, I am going viral. It's taking some time, but I am starting to show signs of going viral. So it's just taking a little time, but I'll get there. But all right, guys. So it's about reinventing your style, coming out with a style no one else heard of, and you're not going to do it by writing. You have to reimagine your thinking, and you have to do it off the top of the head. That's my best advice I could give you, and it saves a lot of time by no editing, no mixing, and no writing. Saves you like 30 years off your career. You don't want to end up with 5 albums in 30 years and be a hair full of gray and asking what happened to your career. You got to learn how to go off the top. I made 65 albums. You know, in 2 years I did 30 albums a year. You know, I've been working on my music for 10 years, but I took like a 5-year pause after I made my first CD. So really, I've been, you know, kind of doing a lot of album placement. I've been doing them in the last 4 years, and the last 2 years I made like probably 58 albums. I'm not entirely sure how many I made in the last 2 years, but I made, you know, the first 6 years I made like 5 or 6 albums, and then the last 4 years I made like 58 albums. So something like that. I'm not entirely sure, but you know, I've been making my music for 10 years now. So, but if you're writing and you're editing everything, even your YouTube videos, you're not gonna be able to put out as much content as you need to. You need to be able to put out content every single day. Once you're an artist on TikTok, you could do this very, very easily by, you know, making your music videos off your songs. When they give you the TikTok as an artist, they give you a use this video song feature, use this song feature. So basically, you just record yourself dancing to the music, and you make your songs very quickly. You make your videos very quickly. You then post them on all platforms. Very simple to do that. But you know, if you don't have the TikTok as an artist, you might need to get that. You can get it on once you sign up on DistroKid, you could get it somehow like that. I forgot how I got my TikTok artist going, but not sure why I haven't got paid for it yet, but I do have like millions of views on 2 songs. But it's not showing up under my views under my I forget what you call it. I'm not a creator, I'm just an artist on there. That's what I'm thinking. It's not I'm not going to get paid for it. But if you guys know something about how much I'll get paid for 2 or 3 million views on the audio side of it, not the video side, just the audio on my music. So that's what I was trying to say. But I'm going to end this video kind of short, but I just want to tell you, stay motivated, try to make your catalog as best as you can. Once you start making music, you'll get better and better at it. It will take you less time. You'll be able to start recording from your own house. You'll be making songs, and then you can learn to graph one in. Just try to do it professionally. Don't get yourself sued or nothing like that. But that's my advice. Got a little tangled up on what I was trying to say, but I think it's all right. I'm gonna go ahead and put the video out. Like I said, I'll put my links up my website in the description, and don't forget to like, comment, share, sub me on all platforms, follow me on all platforms, and till next time, we'll take it easy. Dub it down.